In this video, we're going to look at how we create drop-down menus in Google Sheet cells. These allow the user to quickly select specific options in a cell and which controls what they input into the cells. It makes it easier and quicker to input the data and also to analyze afterwards. When you click on the cell, you will be presented with lovely looking options to choose from. Let's see how they're set up. There is an easy way to add drop-downs to your cells. First of all, select the range of cells you want to add drop-down menus to. There are two ways to access this. One is to right-click on the cell or range you want to add the drop-down menu in and select drop-down from the menu. The other is to select the cell or range you want to add the drop-down menu in and click on the Insert menu and click on drop-down. Either way, we'll add the drop-down menus to the cells you selected, but you will need to set the options. As you can see, it also opens the data validation rules sidebar, where you will set the options, colors, etc. Let's look at the options available. Again, apply to range. This shows the cells you have selected. Note, you can select an individual cell or a range of them to add multiple drop-down menus which have the same options. You can also edit the range here. Criteria. By default, the option drop-down is selected. You can change this to other types of data validation, but in this video we're focusing on the drop-downs. We'll also see later on an extra option for drop-downs. Next, you have the options you want the drop-down menu to show. Type in the options, where it says option 1, option 2, etc. To add extra options, just click Add another item. To delete an option, click on the trash can next to the option. For each of the options, you can also set a color. Here I'm going to add 4 options and a color to each of them. You're given 16 default colors, but you can add your own ones by clicking on Customize. Select a color, enter a color hex code or RGB code. Or use the eyedropper to select a color on the screen. Let's just add some default colors. Advanced options. You can choose to show help text to help the user. You can also choose whether only the options can be inputted into the cell or whether you just show a warning flag if something different is written. And to show the help text, you need to choose the Reject the Input option. Display style. By default, the menus will use the chip style, but you can change it to just an arrow or no menu icon by selecting plain text. For this last option, you would need to double-click on the cell to see the options. Finally, to remove the menus, click on Remove Rule, which removes the data validation rule. Click Done once you've finished editing them. If you need to edit the menus, click on the range of cells you want to edit, which contain the menu, and click on the pencil icon. This will open the sidebar again, allowing you to edit them. In the previous example, we manually entered the drop-down options, but instead of entering the options manually in the sidebar, you can also refer to a range of cells in your spreadsheet. To do this, from the criteria section, select drop-down from a range, and then enter the range or click on the grid icon and select the range on the sheet. As an example, on a different sheet, I have the 4 names I want to add to the menus. Select them and click OK. You will see in the criteria that it now shows the 4 options. In the last example, we used the range A1:A4, where our list of teachers was. The only problem with this is that if we add teachers to the list, we also have to remember to update the range in the data validation, otherwise the newly added teachers won't appear on the list. The better way is to create an open-ended range right from the start. Here we use A1 colon A. We look at the whole column A from A1 downwards and add anything in that column to the list. So if we add new teachers to the list, it will automatically add them to the drop-down menus. So if I add Bob to the list, he'll be automatically added to the options and to the drop-down menus. Having the list in a column rather than entered into the data validation box also allows us to sort it alphabetically and then use that sorted list for the drop-down menu. Here we have our list of teachers as before. In cell B1, I'm going to add this function, equals sort, open brackets, A1 colon, A5, closed brackets. The sort function sorts the range, in this case alphabetically. We then refer to the list in column B. As we can see, we now have a list in alphabetical order. Sometimes lists aren't predefined ahead of time and develop over time, and you want the user to be able to add to the list if what they want isn't on the current list, and then the list gets updated automatically with what they've entered. Here we have a book inventory where we will have a list of books and the number associated with that book. On the second sheet, I enter the following formula in cell A1 equals sort, open brackets, unique, open brackets, books, exclamation mark, A3 colon A, and 2 closed brackets. For now, I'm just going to add drop-down menus down to row 10. Select the range on the book sheet starting from A3 down to A10, then go to data validation. Choose the criteria, drop down from a range, then click on the grid icon. Select the range on the book list sheet from A1 down to the bottom of the page, then click OK. This has added the drop-down menus, but at the moment they are empty. In the advanced options, make sure the show a warning, not reject the input, is selected, allowing you to type something different in the cells. Type the first book in. Now when we click on a menu, it's already added the book as an option. On the book list sheet, we can see it's added it to our list in column A. We can keep adding new books like this to populate the drop-down menu, or select one from what's on the menu already. On the book list sheet and in the drop-down menu, we can see the unique function only shows the single instances of each book. As time goes on, the majority of the books will be on our list, but it will still allow us to add a new book and update the list. Finally, another thing I like about these drop-down menus is that you can type in the first letters and this will filter the list, allowing you to find what you want more quickly. Here, if I type E, it shows me there are 2 options starting with E. I can then select one of them. So far, the drop-downs we've created only allowed us to choose one option per cell, but now it's possible to allow users to choose more than one option. As an example, here we have some students that need to choose which courses they would like to do, and they can choose up to 5 options. To add the options, select the area you want to add the drop-down menus in. As before, right-click and select the drop-down option. Enter the options you want, and if you want, add some colors. Then tick the Allow Multiple Selections option, then click Done. When the students click on a drop-down, they can then select more than one option. If you need to go back in and edit the options, don't use the drop-down option, as this would make extra options with the multiple options. Instead, select the area, right-click, select View More Cell Actions, and click Data Validation. You can then edit the options. Drop-down menus are a great way to simplify the way users enter data, whilst also controlling the format of the data.